Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Welcome to tonight's planning meeting. Do we have any apologies for absence?
Do we have a apology from Councillor Jane Mordew and Councillor Donahue?
Thank you. Do we have any declarations of interest? Yourself, Robin?
It's bit on the planning board.
Yeah.
And so one of the problems on anything that on
Point 3, do we agree the minutes of the planning committee meeting held on the 22nd of September and the 13th of October?
Agreed.
Agreed. Do we need to propose those or is that okay? We don't, we just agree them, yeah?
We better propose and second them just in case.
I think so.
Yeah,
Can we have a proposer?
I'll propose.
We have a seconder, please. Thank you. North Back Box Parishes.
And we need to vote as well then in that case.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm racing ahead, you know.
Have you got some way to do?
You can have to try and keep up with me. Yes. Yeah, so that's for the 22nd of September and 13th of October. Do we have a proposer?
Propose again.
And let's take a vote.
Everybody in favour?
Everybody in favour, yeah. Okay. North Box Parishes Planning Consortium put forward to note that the next consortium meeting is on the 12th of November and we're to discuss any matters for Councillor Tribe to take to that meeting. Does anyone have any points of discussion? Michael, have you got anything to tell us about?
Not at the moment,
Right.
only that it didn't happen last time, so
Right.
we'll see what happens this time. We will be talking about the local plan, but I have received some comments on that, so I will forward those to that consortium and we'll see what we do.
Okay, thank you very much. Robin.
There's a couple of things that might be worth asking if it's but it will have a direct impact on us. There's some conservation areas going in Aylesbury and there's some planning things around if they get them, planning towards the contributions. And there's also they're putting in some in South Buckinghamshire. Well, of course, put these conservation areas in such and such in and support them. That means that the percentage of development that goes around, there's some really tight laws around some of these areas. So it might be worth asking them to discuss that so you can bring back some advice on it. Not that it will affect our local plan, but it will affect what happens here with future development. It may have a knock-on effect negatively in the sense that they can't build there, they'll build here.
Yeah, and just to respond to that, I mean, that's what the consortium's for, is to, talk about issues that we may have and other people may not, or processes that we have and they haven't caught up with. One of the current ones is the neighbourhood plan. And at the last meeting, we spoke about it and asked if they could have a list of how many parishes have or have not got a current neighbourhood plan. So that will be issued this meeting. And of course, I can now tell them that we are having our referendum in January. So that'd be a little up one for us.
Any further points to be made on that? Thank you very much. We now move on to planning applications. And just to say that the second item does not need to be discussed this evening. It can be removed from the agenda. Point 1, 18 Kings Charles Close in Page Hill. Who would like to start on that one? Conversion of existing garage into livable living space. Habitable.
Yeah.
I don't think we should have any objections to that at all. Yeah. The others,
Everyone in agreement with that?
Yes, that's okay.
Yeah. John?
Well, I'm a little bit confused by what Catherine's written. It suggests that there's been other conversions, but they haven't had permission. So So I don't see why we should be agreeing to this.
Well, in the sense that you can say that they have gone the proper route. I mean, I wouldn't have, I investigated all of King's House Close because I did a quick recce and seen how many of them have got converted garages. Not as many as I was expecting, to be perfectly honest. But if there are no obvious applications for it, one has to assume it has been done. Without permission, I mean, but most of them will be too late to chase now.
Well, yeah.
Any further points on that one? I do know next door has had a version run the same sort of work, looks like. To me. So, sorry, Martin.
No, I think it's great. I like the picture with the obstructed registration number, but you can clearly see the person walking along the side next
Yes.
door. But maybe it's something we ought to take up with the communication group about permitted development rights and those places that have it and haven't, and just remind our residents, really.
We make the next of that. Good. Okay. So do we take a vote on this or just go ahead?
Yeah.
Do I have a proposal? Oh, God.
Oh, okay.
Roger this time.
Yeah, go for Roger.
Would you like to second the Martin?
I don't know, actually. No, I wouldn't.
I'll second Roger's proposal of no objection.
And as you've done that, we should take a vote, I think. Thank you. That's it's no.
Because we don't.
Yeah, one abstention, sorry. And we go on to number 3, 28 Port of the Lane, Lace Hill. Household application for single story front extension. There's some drawings available to us of what the proposed development will look like of the property. It's a rather large sort of addition to the frontage. Lucy.
I mean, so essentially it's just for a porch. It's not kind of, it seems okay. They've done a pointy roof which matches the existing frontage. So it's not been checked with the town, but you know, it kind of it fits with what's already there. It's not intruding massively on other people's space. I don't see any issue with it. I would propose no objection.
Second.
Yes. Any objections in the room to that? Any further points?
No, I can see that just for the sake of saying something this evening. We have no objections to this extension. It's worth noting, as Catherine has done in her report, that they actually did not reinstate their railings as they were asked to do, and the inspector did allow it. So it's a bit of a shame that the overall boundary treatment for Lace Hill was really very well thought through, and they did change it without any notice. And it's like Martin and our book.
Worth noting that. So Lucy, you proposed we have no objections. Roger, I understand you'll second that.
I am.
Okay, so we take a vote. No objections, yeah. One abstention. Thank you. And now we move on to point 4, which is a Sycamore Street in 37 Wells Street. There's some information available to us here. You can see a photo of the Sycamore from the top of Wells Street and the view of the rear of the house from Church Street. Sycamore does not appear to be affecting the cables. And it's had previous conditions before, I believe, to undertake works on the tree. You want to? You.
Sooner the better, frankly,
Yeah.
before it gets too big.
Okay. People in agreement? Roger?
Yeah, second all three was the people I spoke with, call them weed.
Right.
I don't think it's a great loss, but it might be worth asking them to, asking the council for a condition that they replant a suitable replacement. I think it's worthwhile doing.
Okay, note that. So would you propose that we go ahead and ask them to do that, or?
Yeah, I think as part of our comments, if the council do permit its spelling, maybe ask them to condition it to
Okay,
replace the tree with something more suitable.
okay, John and then Frank.
I'll second what Roger's suggesting, but also in defence of sycamores, they do have the most amazing seeds. No, like helicopter. Let's not diss them too much.
I was just going to ask if we can actually do that in a
Oh, we're sorted on trees now.
yeah, okay, so we can
We can.
say that, yeah, okay.
So I've got that, councillor Milford as first, councillor Harvey seconded, and then Ms. Stewart. That is what I've got, yeah.
Sorry, Frank.
No, I was voting.
Oh, okay, you propose.
I was voting.
I'll get this right one day. Who's going to second that?
We've got first and
First and
second.
second.
The Fran was
I
voting.
was voting, yeah.
Right, so vote on that, please. Majority, but one objection.
One of the senses.
Not objection.
Can't go ahead.
Did say it.
Robin?
Right, let's move back up to the agenda so I can see what's going on. So that's all the applications discussed. We're now on to plan. Oh, sorry, I've got to give you one more notice here. Item 5, telecommunications notification for information only. Works taking place near 3 Galcott Road under Regulation 5 of the Electronic Communications Code.
Basically, it's a free pass.
They can do that if they wish to.
But telegraph poles popping up all over the town, so you see that.
Chairman,
Martin.
if I may, information only. Of course, it's a very good company, so they're very respected. But yes, they do have this sort way of being able to do it without too much red tape attached to it. But I would like them to note that that pavement is very narrow at that point, and putting in a pole will narrow it even more, especially for disabled carts and pushchairs going along there. So yes, they have marked X where they want to put it, but I think they ought to think about pedestrian usage at that particular pinch point, because the road is not great in itself, and the sidewalk is a haven for pedestrians.
Okay. Thank you very much. Are we at liberty to do that? Yeah. Okay. So
We've always done it when we haven't got the liberty to do it.
for information only, do we take a vote on that, or we just go ahead and put that point across?
Councillor Twiles just ran things.
We're happy to move from there. Okay.
As always,
Agreed, yeah. So item 6 is planning decisions, and we have a list of approvals here. Off West Street, Martin's Court, 5 Bostock Court, and 54 Oven Crescent. Anyone would like to make any comments on those?
No.
Okay. Reviewed applications 12 Bridge Street, 3 and 4 Market Square, and 5 Fried. I hope I got this name right. Fried Wide Street.
That's the one we skipped earlier.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. Any comments on those?
No.
And then finally, not for consultation, 15 Morton Drive.
Yes, that's an old application before the new system came in, so we won't take these things off the government.
Okay. Happy to move on from there to item 7.
Mhm.
Item 7. Has everyone had a chance to read that letter?
Indeed.
Yeah.
Lovely letter to Catherine. 2 years old, when she consulted them, it's great to get something in improvement. Would you like to say something, Robin?
Yeah, so we ought to credit to Catherine to actually get in there from the library, get it, actually whatever. It shows, they might actually notice we exist.
But there have been no point me doing anything if you haven't made the decisions, so.
No, but
I'm not engrossed a large amount of the responsibilities of the children's services.
Well done to you both.
and they sent that to Bletchley Park.
We had the advantage of having consulted the senior schools for the neighbourhood plan, so we were able to actually provide them with evidence from children.
Excellent work. Well done.
2 years ago, since a long time, isn't it?
Item number 8, action reports. Have we got any comments on those? Robin?
But you said on the action reports, just to say that I'm working closely with the archaeologists to try and get a press release that we wanted to go out in August to do with the bodies. Now, I've been very patient at waiting because, as you can imagine, the archaeology department don't get that many opportunities to actually talk a good news story about all the work they've done. And it's been quite frustrating sitting on the report. I have to say that it is quite an in-depth report, and it's probably why I've left it for the archaeologists to write the press release. I can't be so hopefully if we don't get anything, well, I mean, I wrote back to them only a week ago, and the officer said that she's as frustrated as I am, that it hasn't found its way up the Ponds team's priorities. Quite where we go if we get to the new year, perhaps I won't be quite so or perhaps won't be quite so patient. But I think it's important to let people who've worked, because it's been a 6-year project to get this far. So I just thought that hanging on at a decency to let the officers be able to communicate what they've supported us in doing for that period seemed to be the right thing to do.
Thank you.
But it is immensely interesting, and that's why I think it's better done professionally.
John?
There are one or two that, like the silent queue, third item down. Is that now academic, given where we are with the neighbourhood developers?
If you want to, I've had no feedback.
We're waiting for it.
We're waiting for
it, aren't we?
Yeah, we haven't had that.
We haven't had that yet.
Is the silent queue the one up the way to Fatman?
Yes, you just said
Yes.
one.
So,
But
sorry.
we can't do anything until we know what the examiner comments are. So if you can't address something you don't know exists,
I thought the report was out.
apparently not.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't heard about it.
Something to follow up on?
All right, I'm sorry, I'm really confused. I thought this, something, hang on. I thought that site Q, which is the place south of White Bank, that decision had been made by the planning inspector to allow housing. I thought a report had been produced on that. Not the case. I thought I read something.
I'm not.
Yeah, I thought they're
It was the effect on the neighbourhood plan that the report was
Yeah.
really about.
Would we chase that up and see if there is a report?
We can certainly look into it, but I haven't been made aware of any report for this, for this meeting.
And
Okay.
unfortunately, Steve's not in the office for a week, so we haven't got.
You happy for them to follow up on that?
Well, yes, I said, I'm now thinking, have I imagined the report? Because it was very specific about the fact that nobody come forward to build industrial units, and that's why the planning inspector allowed housing to go ahead, and there were empty spaces in the industrial estate. And I've read all of that somewhere.
Okay.
Is that not the
No,
report?
that would probably be the appeal,
that was the
because they appealed the
appeal
decision.
decision, wasn't it?
Yeah, the decision was to refuse, and they appealed it, and the inspector on the appeal gave them the
I know, I thought I'd read that report from the planning board.
But it was the effect on our neighbourhood plan.
Oh, I see,
That sort of thing.
okay, that's what I've got wrong, okay.
Martin and then Robin.
Yes, would it be prudent to put on the 6 external floodlights onto our action report so we could monitor it?
Sorry,
The planning application retrospective,
all right, yes.
to put that straight onto that action report so that we don't then have to come sort of back to it.
Everyone happy?
As it's retrospective, you know, things have to happen, like maybe switch them off first of all.
We are in the position of having a year ago, the decision on the town hall lighting. And the decision was to remove one line of letters and take away the lights. And that has not actually been monitored to the extent that an enforcement notice has been served yet. I think that they're all up, down and sideways down there. I really don't know that they know. It really is. I mean, it was quite plain. And it actually followed into the conservation area survey because the words that it was actually a boutique hotel. The survey people are granted they were from Essex, so they wouldn't know, but they took that as what it was and said that the town hall had been turned into a hotel, which we had to
Okay.
that. And I don't think the feel as it's a boutique hotel anyway when you get round to one, but
Definitely not a boutique hotel.
No, so my thought was that if it's on our action report, it'll come up at our planning meetings, and then if we feel that it hasn't taken place in part or all, we can feed it back to them maybe on a more regular basis and try and prompt some work to be done.
they have 6 months in which to appeal if they want to retain those rights.
Okay,
What amused me is that they said that the ones over the nail bar had to go, but the ones on the front of the White Hart were perfectly all right.
yeah, and we have to take a vote on that or with this.
Yeah, we should do.
I'll second Martin's proposal,
So-
that it goes on to the action report.
Martin, you're proposing, Fran, you're second.
Goes under.
Can we have a vote on that, please? Sorry, Robin wanted to also say something.
Yeah, I did, yeah, just on the action list,
Is that to do with that?
No, I thought we were gonna carry on with
Okay.
John's point, which I was gonna talk from, but.
Okay, sorry about that, Robin. So we've taken the vote on that, it's been agreed. And what have you, so we can add that to the action list, yeah.
Excellent, yeah.
Sorry, Robin.
Yeah, the site queue thing, I don't recall having anything sent to myself either. What we had sent was I recollect, it's quite a long time ago now, is the appeal decision notice that they granted it appeal. And but I will chase it because there must be some documentation somewhere and it's a reasonable thing to, I think I should have seen that by now.
Okay.
It could be sat in that great big in tray. One other point was to look at the point on action list to do with the drainage, and it says waiting a response. That was a long time ago that Lucy raised the railway walk drainage, and we're getting into the wet weather now, aren't we?
Yeah,
Good update.
Yeah.
so we'll an update on that.
So, Buckinghamshire came and cleared the lower drain, which has sort of helped to stop the footpath along Railway Walk from flooding. However, the issue is still that the footpath created by the developers is covered in a loose aggregate, which is also blocking the natural flow of a groundwater spring, which is then still blocked the top drain. I believe the developers, because some of the homeowners on the estate raised the issue, and the developer's response was, we didn't know there was a spring there, or the spring only appeared recently.
Miraculous spring.
Miraculous spring, it's been there for hundreds of years, because that's why there's a well there, because there's a lot of water there. Anyway, So the railway walk is flooding less because there is at least one working drain. However, I believe Lee is still in communication with the developers, because obviously if we're ever going to take over that piece of land, then we don't really want it to be a liability. We want them to put, because it'd be a really quick, easy fix. You just need to put a pipe from underneath.
Yeah.
So all it would need is a bit of plastic pipe for underneath the pathway, so the water has somewhere to go. But anyway, I believe Lee is in.
We need to follow up with Lee to find out what
Yeah.
the latest he's heard.
Yeah.
So can I just go to councillor Neil?
Well, just to say that it isn't these, it's still the landowner's responsibility.
Yeah.
How, it's not the town council's responsibility, it's still the developer's.
Yeah, but Robin,
Lee
that-
might have information.
Yeah.
that's what I was saying, that Lee's been speaking with developers to get them to do it, to get them to sort it out.
Okay, thank you. Yes, sir.
Could I add something to the action list? Sorry, Catherine. The 1 West Street, which is partially occupied by Russell and Butler, and 13 High Street, the Grand Junction, which are both listed buildings. They've both been repainted and need a property because the colours have changed. There's they need to apply for listed buildings consent, which they haven't. So.
And Russell and Butler are already a open case at enforcement.
Excellent.
And I will bring in the camera down tomorrow to get the sort of pistachio going.
I call it puce.
I would vomit.
Is that an adjective or a?
Don't get one of the camera.
It works in the dark, actually. It doesn't show up so much. I know it's
Is
in the light. it's better, but,
Totally.
Because what Russell and Butler got new signage as well as new
Yeah.
paint, so. I'm glad that one about them. Well, it was written shortly after the last meeting, I think, I did that matter case.
Okay. John.
Yeah, just to raise up, I think we'll call it washdown line, I think. Or pastel line, maybe, I don't know. Just to say that the naming of the land on 30 Morton Road, as Catherine knows, because you emailed me, has been confirmed as Vesta Place. I think is there, was it Vesta Road, one or the other.
That's on the list.
Yeah. And I think I was going to raise that section 106, 3825, about it's down the list there. I mean, this is from May. This is from May. That's half a year. As we all know, section 106 have a clock on.
Time bound, yeah.
So I really think we ought to be saying a very strong letter, copying in the 3 shire councils, saying we need to have this meeting. This is an important issue. We're not just prepared to let it slide. Get somebody up here next meeting to talk to us about it. It's just not good enough. 6 months.
Who is it you need to talk to?
Well, it's a member from the planning department, about section 106.
Yeah.
Sorry, Catherine.
Claire's already on that, she is pursuing that.
There was meetings last week, wasn't there, Janine, but
I mean, I haven't seen her, and we'll probably get some in at the staff meeting on Wednesday morning, but Claire has been prodding along that one. I think that the whole planning department is in such chaos that they can't spare anybody.
Well, as long as they can add 6 months to all the clocks, I don't mind. But right now, the clocks are running out on a lot of those section 106.
Well, they're having
And
to-
this is an appalling delay.
Everywhere, councillor Harvey, because I am getting applications where the determination date is before the end of our consultation period. Because they are sitting around in the pending tray for so long.
Because they haven't got the staff.
Well, they've got this new system and it doesn't seem to work for them any more than it works for me.
So we need some answers from, or an update from there, don't we, on as to where we are and.
Yeah, we
do. Sorry, Roger.
To try and help you with this
Yeah.
item, firstly, it was not to do to change the section 106 agreements. That's a different item. This was to do with explanation of the introduction of SIL, which is coming in, and it's been added bus and transport sub-prior, they sort in there, but the basic thing was because SIL will be coming in, and when SIL comes in, it was to see how Buckinghamshire Council were going to operate SIL.
That's part of it, Rob. It's not.
Can I carry on talking? Is it all right? And the other bit to do with the section 106, most of the ones have got some time on them. So though it's taken 6 months, there is time on those. And there was an email went out to members to meet up to discuss priorities on section 106. And I think that's an appropriate time to have a discussion about it. Now, the other point to do with section 106 is to do with the deed of variation. That's a completely different question than this. So in section 106, but this one really was, from my recollection, was to do with the fact that SIL will come in and we have to understand how that affects. Now, that may come in imminently, it may come in the new year, but SIL is quite a big thing for this council because we have a May neighbourhood plan and hopefully we'll have a new May neighbourhood plan and we'll get 25% of the SIL. Now, how they're going to play that and how that's going to work and what the legal frame around it, they are the planning authority. They're best placed to advise us. If they're not going to talk to the person with 25% of the money, presumably. But anyway, so that's really the big issue in there. I think all the other things were in separate items in other places. And the bus transport thing, it seems to be added, it's all part of the same game, because if you've got a SIL, you can then make decisions about all those. It might be a set that perhaps we could go back and stick in the minutes of the decision to put it in there, because I think the action in this note doesn't quite match what's said.
Okay, John, are you happy with that answer or that?
I'm having to go back to the minute, but I'm pretty sure it covered the issue of under spend of the section 106 and the facility as well. Of course, it is. It's just about the SIL.
Okay. Any further points?
There was two separate conversations, Chair. They're not the same conversation. They are separate conversations and separate actual things. The underspend of the SIL was something we were dealing with. That was a full council matter. And this about how we do with SIL was the decision to have somebody come and inform the committee about how they were going to apply SIL. It'd be nice to understand. We shouldn't try and bring everything together in one point because they should be kept separate because they are separate issues.
Okay,
so I've got a reasonably good memory of things. So.
Yes, we look back at the minutes and see whether these two points need to be separated.
Yeah.
And then we can go from there.
So
I think it's
their meetings are follow-on meetings, so we won't have time to do it unless it goes in the council in the first one.
There have been discussions of SIL, but not.
Okay.
We haven't got a standalone meeting until New Year.
So we're happy for what Zoe
We'll
suggested.
just check the information.
Yeah.
If it's right, and we'll leave it as is, but if it's not, we'll look at that, and then we know it's just been looked into, hasn't it?
Yeah. Okay. Good. Right, so anything else on the list, or should we move on to item 9? I believe it is. Transport and Environment and Climate Change Subcommittee, or November, received a written question submitted to this meeting by Councillor Stutchbury and discussed the response. Appendix C. So have you had a chance to read through that? Yeah.
So thank you to Councillor Stutchbury for asking the question. We've received a expectedly vague but also slightly hopeful response. So I suppose let's see what this is. 2026 they're reviewing. Where was it? The bus route to the West area due to be reviewed in advance of autumn 2026. We're actively considering how we can make the existing routes more regular. I did think it was so for those travelling from Buckingham to Westcott, a change of bus is required in either Aylesbury or Bicester. Bear in mind the bus to Aylesbury takes roughly 45 minutes on a good day to an hour 15 tops. I wonder how they've managed to get a worked total journey time of an hour and 4 minutes.
by not counting the time you have to wait for the second bus.
Yeah,
They've just added the journey time.
Who's that might be good.
but I mean, even that journey time's ambitious. So that was an interesting point, but yeah, so yeah, I mean, our thanks to Councillor Stutcher.
Robin?
Yeah, I don't know, it was something that came to this committee, and it was something that John raised about cognitive buses, so this question was meant to be supportive. It might be interesting listening to the actual verbal response, because the verbal response is a real word salad.
Written one's not.
And the fact that we were informed that there are buses in North Buckinghamshire to Arncott, and they're all from Aylesbury. When the question was about transport from Buckingham. So I think the word salad provided was immensely entertaining. Wasn't much use, and the written question is word for word completely different to the response that you received at council.
And also, to get to Silverstone, they say you have to go via Brackley, which is not a quick,
No,
and not a terribly frequent service either.
I hope that we'll do the same duty, because Heather attended it and asked a very good question, so I think that perhaps that should go on the future agenda, because
Well, that's an environment question.
well, yeah, but she attended asking a question. It was suitably received as well, wasn't it?
She did put her hand up as well, so she was even to that.
Yeah, I was going to make the same point about going via Brackley to Silverstone. It's just, I mean, if you've ever taken the Brackley bus, it's a horrible old thing that kind of rattles around all the corners, and then by the time you've recovered from that, you don't want to get on another bus to get somewhere else. So I think that's totally impractical. Also, just to note that Anya asked a question about bus services as well at the same meeting. But I don't know that we'll see anything on that until it comes back in the minutes, and then it'll be a kind of small.
Won't be in the minutes.
Small thing.
It'll be in the web.
But it was a similar answer. It was kind of, it's a commercial thing. We don't dictate it anymore. It's all to do with the Bus Act of 19, whatever it was, and you know. You don't use buses enough to justify having good buses was the sort of gist of the response on all of it. And it wasn't just us. There was somebody from Cheshire asking about buses as well, and they got pretty much the same answer. So yeah, one other very minor point. They've changed the name of that committee. It's now Transport, Environment, Communities and Climate Change.
We'll see.
That they abolished a select committee.
Just to reinforce the word salad, I mean, the writing in this reply, it's just appalling. I mean, really, it's just.
Better than the very one.
We should put it into AI, not in the simpler one.
Just John, you're absolutely right. If you really want to get your blood pressure up, watch the webcast response. It will help your blood pressure know and to be sat down. And the fact that the gentleman giving the response wasn't aware that the whole subject matter had been discussed on the Friday before in the government select committee about provision of or non-provision of transport in rural areas. I sometimes do stress, but we have to deal with what we've got put before us, don't we?
Yeah.
Thank you to those that have put these questions forward. John's obviously had a lot to do with transport as well. And let's see where we go from here. There's no voting on this, I believe, just to bring it to our attention and to discuss. Are we happy with that?
Yep.
Yeah. Item number 10, we have an enforcement. To receive for information and enforcement notice being served at 5 Market Square, known as JoJo's. Without listed building consent, the erection of an advertisement, the construction of a facial board to accommodate the advertisement. And obviously, you've probably read the rest about illumination and so on. Do we have any comments on this?
Has it got any sense of appeal?
We'll appeal.
It should do.
Any thoughts on that? Or we'll leave it there. Well,
There are other enforcement cases taking place.
They're on the next agenda.
They're on the next agenda.
Yeah.
So we've got a couple of others going which are larger, more significant than lights on the building.
We've got a new officer, obviously.
Yeah.
On for Mondays. And he's been very busy this last fortnight.
Yeah, on Buckingham.
Okay. Thank you very much. So we okay to move on to, oh, sorry, John, got to,
Roll to 10.2.
yes.
The new WH Smith, now called LG something.
PJ Jones.
Yeah, does that have to go through planning permission?
It has gone
It
through,
has already.
yeah,
Oh, it has.
Yeah.
It's pretty much exactly the same, it's just the letters are a little bit different.
well, they changed the name of the business,
It's different business.
well, it's still the same business, but
Martin?
they've rebranded.
The station road sign at the bridge end
It's missing.
is not there.
Can we make a note of that? Thank you. Brian?
I noticed as I came here this evening that, there are green lights on the dipper list there.
Well,
Already
then,
there.
as I say, they get 6 months to appeal.
Yeah.
And how far into that?
That's
are they? 6 months?
About 3 days.
3 days.
I thought our conversation earlier was.
Yes.
It's ongoing.
But yeah, no, the notice has been served.
Something to keep an eye on. Councillor Draper first.
Also, in addition, Dragon Bay have developed some enormous floodlights as well.
Take next to the cost.
Yes.
Yeah, I've sent a photo through, Catherine.
Thank you. So I need.
Dragon Bay, where
Polish my pen.
Buckingham Lorries. Next to London.
Martin.
Yeah, just for clarification, surely when somebody is given an enforcement, that should take place on day one of how it should be, and then they have 6 months to appeal to be able to turn it, not keep it as is while the appeal period that they may want to use carries on. Surely it's enforcement action on that day, and then they can appeal.
I'm going to have to ask Catherine about that.
I was going to ask that to Councillor Hill.
All right, okay. Have you got any thoughts on that?
It's planning law, so if you serve an enforcement notice, it's the same as you, for any unauthorised works, you get a notice served and then you can appeal that within 6 months.
So within that 6 months, you don't have to take
No.
action, right?
Because you win your appeal, and you take it down and you win your appeal, then technically you could ask for costs for the work that you had to do to rectify their enforcement notice.
It's just satisfactory.
But you could do further damage to a listed building because you have taken it. And you have to put it up again.
Okay, John, did you?
Yeah, do we know what's happened about the blockhouse and the Vincent building?
Apart from the breeding.
Yes, there's another one there now, isn't
Well,
there?
there were 3 altogether when I went up to the.
Oh, yeah? Oh, right.
Yes,
The what?
all different.
The what?
Not even matching.
They're parcel lockers.
Parcel lockers.
Yes,
There's a Royal Mail, I didn't know Royal Mail, did it?
it's case they will be dealing with it in that do.
Okay, all right, so that's what I'm asking.
I mean, once I've got a case file number, I know they've taken notice and it's on their records.
You okay now to move on to point 11?
Yeah.
Any further points? Yeah, road list, just updates any tree felling applications. So,
You would have noticed that some of these got approval of
yeah.
values rather than improvements.
Oops. Just on. So, bear with me. No, go up with that. They can say. Really quick with my finger there, so. Right, so we have point 12. We have the street naming list of Ossia Way Phase 2. Again, this is for information only. Lots of nice little names on there. So take a look through those. when you can, and some numbering of properties as well, I noticed. And types of property, but it's an extensive list, it goes on for some.
Yes, and if you look at the map, the yellow road that goes off at the top actually does a loop and come back, so that is it actually a horseshoe. So there will be more numbers to go in that bit.
It's a huge loop, that Angelica way.
Yes, I would have
I think
said,
the postmen are going to have real problems.
yes, but they have on Lace Hill as well, where they have arranged it so that there are two abutting streets, number 16s, two halves of a semi. I don't know how it works, but I really think that lots of shorter streets are better. But the developer will only pay for so many.
Down to the money again.
Item 13, do we have any matters? Oh, sorry, John.
I was just going to say, I don't envy the residents of Sicily Road, because that's going to be a nightmare. For a lot of it.
We have to move on to
Yeah.
13, matters to report. Any urgent issues that we've discussed some, like station road signage and so on? Okay.
Can I ask a question? On rights of way, where some maintenance is required, particularly overhanging branches and things like that. There's a right of way, for example, going through the middle of Badgers. You can hardly walk it, let alone take your pony's race. Who is responsible for something like that? Is that the right of way officer? So if I was to go out with my loppers, would I be within my right?
The question is, will they notice?
Well, quite. I mean, I dare say they're very short of officers in the right of the way department.
We used to have a lady who used to walk in from Thornborough along the towpath. And every so often she would ring us up and complain that the brambles had got out and again. And I used to contact rights of way and they'd send somebody round, but that was years ago, I'm afraid.
It's not covered under Fix My Street, that sort of thing.
I think we could probably do it.
There's a different Fix My Street for public rights of way.
Yes, right.
You
You have
access
to go
it through the
if you go into Fix My Street and go to rights of way, it takes you to a different part of the.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry.
Well, it's worth trying, isn't it?
No, just don't do it off your horse. To be trimming it, because they tend to move backwards and forwards and it might not be that easy. But if you do, and not a chainsaw on the horse either, it's not. If you are going to do it, can we all come up and watch? Joking aside, it is, if you report it on, as Lucy said, there's a section of Fix My Street, send me the number and I'll follow it up.
Okay.
And find out there is. But one of the things which gets missed is the rights of way, because they've been so busy doing, as you can imagine, with HS2 movements of rights of ways and such. I think the whole department's been opening, closing and doing stuff. And we always had took us long enough to get different right of ways established, let alone done. So I think it's something perhaps we ought to, as a committee, come back to at some point, just to audit where we are with rights of way, because we've had lots of developments in Buckingham, and just to make sure that when these developments come, they haven't inadvertently extinguished right of ways, all the past doing, because I must confess I haven't in-depthly looked at some of them, and there's a new development taking place being built out now on Mays Morton Road 3. Well, I believe there were some rights of ways up there.
Yes, that has been preserved. I do keep an eye on.
Yeah, I know you do.
It's the one at the back of the Best Western.
It's important, these things.
And lastly, because there was a piece of awful legislation that went through in the previous election of MPs and government, which stated that, you had to get some of these things, you had to get them on the list by a certain date.
Yes, the definitive map.
Yes.
And it
That's,
has,
that's closed now.
yeah, so
There was an extension, but I think that's closed
Yeah.
now.
So I mean, these things do need to be kept up because some of them are more ancient than the area we
We
live
did have a
in.
minute's walk on the rights of way.
Yeah, well, that might be something, yeah.
Right, are we happy that I'm sorry, Martin, I didn't see that.
Yeah, two ones, two items. One is the back of Page Hill School, the the footpath behind there, on
What,
Page
the
Hill.
ones from Carisbrook up, no,
Yes.
not Carisbrook, the other one begins with
So you
C.
got the one, yeah.
Those
I mean, that is
still-
terribly overgrown. In fact, I think there's even an arch there now with the greenery that really needs cutting back. Because again, we have parents with prams. The little kids are okay, 'cause they don't really get up to it, but it is quite narrow now, which it doesn't need to be. And the greenery does need to be cut back. The other one is a bit, the horse has bolted already, but something maybe we ought to think for new roads that we have around the town. And that is like the drain we have on the ring road. It is placed, and it's broken, of course. Well, there's a cone on it. It is placed in the most awful place because all the cars and lorries will go over that drain. So either put it in the middle of the road where the cars can straddle at either side, but don't put it where it is because every single tyre goes over that and will rock it. And as we've seen recently, it's about 3 times in the past 6 months, I think it's been tried to correct it. But when we look at plans again, we need to see if they can be put in a more sensible place.
Do we have any jurisdiction?
We don't normally get detailed drainage plans. That's something that highways agree with the developer, and the water authority and all the other people who are interested in getting rid of water in a satisfactory way.
So it'd be very
But
difficult.
that would be a detailed plan that I wouldn't see.
Right. Something maybe we could question.
Well, some person responsible needs to think better about these things.
Yeah, just a quiet word with a highways officer.
Robin,
One of the things that we will have recalled is that when they widened the road for the Lacehill development, lots of those drains which are now in the highway were in the footpath, and because the footpath moved close to development. And if you recall that one of the things we managed to achieve at that time, because under the 1972 Highway Act, that if you move a road closer to a development, you have to put up soundproofing, which is why Meadway and Badgers ended up with soundproof fence, because they moved the highway closer to the property. Otherwise, they had to do that. So that's where the footpath drainage was. So I expect what was allowed was because they didn't anticipate problems, but they'd have had to move the whole drain in with it. And I expect the developer didn't. They also, at the same time, if you recall, while they were doing all those roadworks, we used to have flooding on the bypass, and we managed to get the drainage put under the pipe, which they denied there was a problem with it until they put a camera down it, and then fortunately that cost lots of thousands of pounds, and that was paid for by the developer. But we did get some improvements out of it. But I think that also the other one, which is still going well, is the one drain which was replaced some years ago by Graham Smith in the middle of that roundabout, which has got a telecommunication. That's because if you look on it, it's got a special form of concrete stroke tarmac around it, which keeps the drain still. What they're using at the moment is either not the right product, and they're bringing back and they're using a sort of
No, but this
resin.
time the actual metal cover is broken.
Yeah, but the resin in it,
Yes,
and the whole thing moves.
Yeah,
What happens? It's because the whole thing is moving in the hole. But unfortunately for them, Graham Smith has retired. He was very good at finding ways around getting the right sort of materials. I don't think they're using the right material to hold the drain firm in the first place.
So we're happy to move on to 14. Right there. Shared announcements, well, I have no announcements, so,
Fantastic.
pardon?
No, you don't. She said make one up then.
Date of next meeting is item 15, Monday, the 1st of December, 2025, followed by an interim full council meeting.
Following.
Sorry, I meant to say, sometimes I do get my words.
It used to be like that.
Yeah, following an interim full council meeting. So I declare.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Do that.